So you may not know who I am, and you may have just seen me on the Carver Life YouTube channel. My friend Jared spent about 7.5 hours at my house discussing many things, namely my book, Presence Before Position. We dove into many different topics of capacity, abundance, ministry, entrepreneurship, building presence before jumping into the seat of position, the successes and the failures that come with that. And I wanted to give a landing place for all of you to begin to see who I am, what I'm building. And so thank you for stopping by.
Rick and I met about 4 years ago. We were at a mastermind private dinner. Rick Gutman walks through the door. He could barely get through the door, by the way, because he's so big. And I was like, I love this man. I got to talk to him. We started talking, and I did about 90% of the talking, and he just listened, and he was just taking in the information that I was telling him about social media and my business and marketing, and he was just a student. And we ended up sitting next to each other, and I left that dinner, and I looked at my wife, and she was there as well, and I said, like, that man's special. I got to figure out who he actually is. So I watched every YouTube video that was out, every podcast, everything about him, and I found out, wow, I should not have been talking. I should have been the one listening to him. I could go through a book about what Rick has taught me, but I'll give you the main ones. I was always asking him about, like, hey, I feel like when I'm in business, I'm so focused on business, and I'm so dialed in on business, but I tend to not think about God. I only think about God when I am going through a hard time, and then I need him. It's almost like a vending machine, I said to him. He said, when you stand up, God will sit down, and when you sit down, God will stand up. And he says, you're really good about standing up a lot, and God is just going to sit down and watch you, right? But when you're ready to finally sit down and take God's lead, and that hit me. I can look at my text with Rick, and I can go through a bunch of voice memos I sent to him anytime I'm going through something. He always responds with something that is so powerful. I remember I said, hey, I start the morning and I just think about business. I think about all these different things. And he said that your source in the morning becomes your resource. And that hit me because my source in the morning was business, emails, and all that. And then when I got later in the day, I started realizing that my resource was myself. It was the business. And that always made me miserable. So when he said that your source that you go to in the morning becomes your resource for the day, that hit me because I realized that I got to start my day in the Word, in the Bible, in prayer. And then everything else that happens after that, I can go to my resource, which is God. So those are two things that I can keep going on this video. I don't want this to be a long video. I want it to be a short. But Rick has been the most impactful man that I've ever met. And I know a lot of successful men that are multimillionaires, billionaires, professional athletes, you name it. He is the salt of the earth. He is the light of the world. I'm really pumped you guys are doing a YouTube channel because this is going to be, I get to share the gift of Rick with the world just by this testimonial. But yeah, that's pretty much sums it up, but I could go on forever with this.
So I think the podcast went really well. I would love for you guys to take a look at it on YouTube. It's called the Carver Life. And I was able to plug my company, which is called Cellamar. It's a cellular health company. It's unlike anything that you've seen before. I was able to talk a lot about my book too. I believe with my whole heart that it will produce 10 times the value of what you're reading if you really take a look at it. So I'm just going to head off to the gym, drop off a few Cellamar products, and see you soon.